Joining me right now on Kumite TV is UFC welterweight slasher Randy Brown. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Thank you for having me.
No doubt, man. Let's start off first. You entered the UFC in 2016 after 6 professional fights. I think you're around, 24, 25 years old at the time?
Yeah.
Now you have 7 fights in the UFC. You basically grew up, in the promotion. What has the whole roller coaster been like?
Emotionally, it's the game. Ups, downs, Same old shit, bro. It's the fight game, it's rough. There's ups. Like I said, there's ups, there's downs. That's it.
Could you pinpoint, which fight that you've had in the UFC that kind of grew you the most?
All of them played their part, man. All of them played their part, all of them played their part. That's it. And there's no one fight in particular where I can say, all right, this fight. Every fight is like the most important fight of your life, I guess. So every one of them I learned so much from each and every one of them. I'm coming off of a loss and all that, so my latest fight, maybe my latest fight, So
let's get into that one. In your latest fight, it wasn't the best experience. Coming off that type of loss for the first time in your career, how long did it take for you to get cleared and move on with, training?
I was cleared pretty fast, surprisingly. I got right back to it. I just didn't spar for a while, but other than that, I got right back to it. I just needed to improve. I felt like I didn't get to showcase all my improvements, because I'm constantly getting better, man. I'm always working to become the best version of myself, and I didn't get to show it, Here and there I show glimpses, but that fight I didn't really get to show it. So I went right back to it. And I got to work. Went to the doctors. I had no post-concussion syndromes or anything like that. Everything was all good, so I basically just got right back to it. But I took my time, I didn't really spar, but as far as the work and the skill development, we went right back.
What particularly did you work on in your skill development at that time?
Probably just more awareness, spatial awareness, range control, and, overall grappling, just overall my entire game, You see what happened last time is that was just everyone wants to say it's a freak thing, which, yeah, I guess, but at the end of the day, I didn't see it. I was in a position where I didn't see it. So I just work on now being more alert and being able to see things,
You were supposed to return earlier this year at UFC Brooklyn. How heartbreaking was that to make the decision to pull out of that fight, in a historic event, and it was in New York City also?
Yeah, that was tough, bro. That was so annoying. It was what it was. That's it. It was what it was, and the commission didn't let me fight, so, just had to keep it pushing. What can I do? I couldn't do anything about it, so I just get back to work. So I've been in this long-ass camp now. I've been working, bro. As you can probably tell, I'm fucking over it, bro. I'm ready to just go in there and throw hands and get back in there and doing what I love.
What exactly happened with the commission? There's not much details or information of, what exactly went down.
Well, it was more so just paperwork, man. Just I didn't get cleared in time, and technically it wasn't my fault because the paperwork that was supposed to be done, it actually expired. Like, my brain scan expired the day before my fight, like a couple days before my fight week or something like that. And the time that it was going to take for me to redo that scan, it wasn't going to come in again, because when I did the first scan, they needed a whole another scan to see something more in depth. And then when that scan came in, I had to go and do another one, and that other one wasn't going to come in time, and they said they couldn't take the risks, so they took me off the card.
Man, it seems like the New York Athletic Commission is They just have all kinds of problems, man. If you looked at last weekend at the PFL, they dropped a gang of dudes off that card, for many different reasons. So is it they're just looking out for the fighters, or is it just tough to deal with them?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know, but I've never had an issue with them up until then. I mean, when you go there, they're kind of like, they're a little aggressive. They're a little like, real extra. But other than that, I've never really had a problem with them. So, but I've heard all the horror stories and seen people getting pulled off, and I've never thought that I'd be one of them. Until it happened to me, I'm like, shit. These guys are not playing. It is what it is. I guess they're just trying to do their job, I guess.
Definitely, man. Well, now you're going to return, and you will not have any problems, especially in Greenville, South Carolina. You're facing Bryan Barberena. Was he the type of opponent you had in mind for your return?
I didn't really care much. I just really wanted to get that one back, man. And I've been out for a minute. I believe this is probably the longest I've ever been out, period. Since I've started my whole career, amateur or professional. And I just needed to get back. I didn't really care who it was, but stylistically, I think it's a great matchup, for me and the fans. I think it's going to be it's very fan friendly, so I like it, man. I just like his aggression. I think he's going to bring it, and people who bring the fight and come with that who come to fight not really to just wrestle as much or anything. I mean, I don't care if you wrestle, but I'm just saying, like, I like guys that wanna throw down like him. He's no bitch, you know what I mean? He's coming to fight, period. And I like that.
It has been a very, very long training camp. How long has it been, man?
Well, I thought I was gonna fight before Brooklyn, so we started camp. That didn't work out. Brooklyn came along, and I was in camp for Brooklyn. Brooklyn didn't happen. So when Brooklyn didn't happen, I figured they were going to put me right back on something. So I stayed in camp. And that was what? How long ago? I don't even remember how long ago that was. But I stayed in camp, and then I was supposed to, and then I was supposed to fight in June, upcoming June. What was it? June 8th, in Rochester, New York.
Yeah. That
didn't happen, So when that didn't happen, I ended up fighting on this card. So I was still training. I'm still in training camp. I just kept going, man. I didn't stop. I never stopped. So I'm like ready. I'm just ready to fucking fight, bro.
Even though you're, very antsy and you're eager to get back into the octagon, do you think it has been more of a blessing than a curse to be, training for that long and improving yourself throughout that time?
In a way, but there's cons and there's pros. A few of the pros are, I'm in shape and I am developing better grinding skills in different areas. Things that just take straight up mat time and straight up, just being stronger, being fit. But as far as skill development, outside of camp is where I do a lot of my skill development, because when I'm training for a specific person or a specific style, training is very tailored, But whenever I don't have anyone lined up and I'm just training, it's all about skill development. It's just about getting better and, working on specific techniques and just bettering myself and becoming a better martial artist in general, and when I'm in camp, it's a grind. It's about being fit. It's about being strong. It's about being fast, and it's about, exploiting that specific opponent. So it's been a lot of that.
Has it been the normal cast and crew for your camp, or have you brought in anybody new, or have you added anybody new to your preparations?
Same old crew, man. Same old crew. Just pushing and grinding. Well, for my last camp, because since I was fighting a wrestler, my last camp I've been training with Gregor Gillespie, just on a wrestling tip. But now I'm not really fighting a wrestler. I'm fighting a more of a grinder, like stand-up brawler, coming forward hard, good pressure. So I just been working with a lot more of those type of kickboxers, you know.
Gregor Gillespie, a lot of people consider him one of the best like wrestlers in MMA, man. How was it grinding it out with him every day?
Oh, that's my dude, man. He's a fucking savage. He's a savage, dude. Him dudes like Sydney Outlaw, you know, you'll be hearing about him pretty soon. Andre Harrison, you know, we just getting it in, man. That's it every day.
Barberena, man, your opponent, he's extremely tough. Everybody knows that. He takes shots, hard shots. He keeps moving forward. He wants to brawl. He basically goes out there to have a fight of the night. You know, it's not like really he's trying to win the fight. He's just trying to entertain. Is there a different kind of mentality, you know, entering a fight against a guy like that?
Not necessarily for me. I mean, my mentality is pretty much always the same. You know, I believe styles make fights. You know, I really do. And I know he's tough. I know he's a grinder. You know, but I just don't see the technical, you know, prowess in him. I don't really see it. You know, I know he's tough. I know he's coming forward, and I feel like if he overlooks me and thinks he's just gonna come walk me down and throw bombs, he's in for a rude awakening. You know, so yeah. But I like it. I love watching him. I remember watching him and Vicente. I was like, oh shit, these dudes are fucking savages. You know what I mean? I love it. You know, but he can try if he wants, you know, one of those type of fights with me. No, I don't think it's gonna go well for him. But we'll see on fight night.
You know, going back to that Vicente Luque fight, he was able to draw Vicente into a brawl, you know, and kind of lasted longer than most people expected against Vicente. Do you think Vicente made a mistake by, you know, entering the fight or adjusting and brawling with him?
I wouldn't say a mistake. Again, I may go back to this. Styles make fights, man. That's Vicente's style. He sits on everything hard, and he's going to be in your face. He has hard pressure. Barberena has hard pressure. And, you know, they both just met in the middle of the octagon. You know, it was great matchmaking. Their styles just complemented each other, and it was a fucking bar burner.
Where does a win over Barberena put you, do you believe, in the welterweight division?
I haven't really thought about it. I haven't really thought about that. I just need to get back in the win column. It puts me back in the win column. That's all I'm concerned about right now. Afterwards, we'll see what happens after. You know, it all depends on how the fight goes and how, you know, spectacular it is.
You are part of the first, you know, group that has come out of that show. You know, Dana White's looking for a fight. You're a alum, I guess you could call it. You know, you, Mickey Gall, Sage Northcutt. Did you watch the Sage Northcutt fight? And, you know, he had his face shattered into like 1,000 pieces. Were you shocked by that result?
I did not watch it. I just saw the highlights and I heard everything. Man, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. That sucked. You know, that's the game, man. This game is unforgiving. This is an unforgiving game. He's young, you know, and he'll be back. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. But that was tough. That was tough. Just the fact that, you know, the broken bones and all that, you know, anybody could get caught, anyone can get KO'd, but you don't want to hear somebody got their face broken up like that. You know, that's kind of like life altering. So I wish him the best, and I believe that he'll be back.
Oh, definitely, he will be back. When you know, a lot of people are gonna always compare you to them, and do you believe that throughout the years since debuting in the UFC, you have elevated your game more than them?
I think they've developed, you know, especially. Well, when you talk about Mickey, I've seen Mickey. Mickey took a tough loss against a veteran, you know, but I seen in that fight, you've seen his hands were coming together. You know, he's throwing some hands, and I know Mickey personally, and I've said this in the past. I think a lot of people are going to overlook him just because of, you know, the way I beat him and then the way he lost to Diego Sanchez. But I think it takes time. This game, man, it's not something that happens overnight. You know what I mean? Skill development takes years and years, and I'm somebody that I think I respect that and I understand that. So I can see it. I see the development. I see the guys are working, you know, and everybody's trying to be their best. So I think so. I do think so. Sage, I don't know Sage enough. I don't really watch, you know, follow him up too much, you know, but I would think he would have to be developing his, and try to grow as a martial artist if he was in the UFC and then he went over to ONE FC. You know what I mean? This is not a game that you could just kind of coast and be like, yeah, I'm a UFC fighter. Like I think you have to. If you're not, then shit, then you fucking up. You're in the wrong game. You know what I mean? So.
Well,
I would hope so. But me personally, I am, and I know what I'm doing. I know I'm putting in the work, and I'm brand new every time I step in there, brother.
yeah, because you know why I ask you that is because it seems like a lot of guys do enter the UFC and are just satisfied being there, or even just having like one or two fights, and and just having that label as I'm a UFC fighter or I was a UFC fighter. So that's the reason why I asked you that question, because it's still so much time for you and for them to develop, and it's hard to predict where you guys will be in 5 years because you guys even haven't even hit your prime yet.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just a grind. It's just a grind. This whole thing is a grind, man. And everybody have different paths. I've seen people leave the UFC and come back. I've seen people get fast-tracked. And I've seen people get fast-tracked when they weren't ready, and the game it's a wild ride, man. Fighting is a wild, wild ride. And coming in when I was young, I was, I had a totally different mindset, and I'm ready for everything. I want to go and like let's do it right now, and like, but that's normal. I mean, I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior, so it is what it is, But as you're around more and you start to see more people and you start to train with more people and you start to see people's careers around you and see the way the fight game works and all that, then you start to see it's like, okay, this is strategic. This is all strategic, and it's all about development, man, and how fast you can develop. It's all about how fast you can develop and when you can fight, you know what I mean, and try to fight at the right times and try to work at the right times, working on your injuries and all that kind of stuff, So it's just, I guess if you want to say fight IQ, that's what it's all about, and I'm starting to understand that. That's where I'm at now, starting to, play chess, not checkers.
Definitely. Well, one last thing before I let you go, music and sports, they come hand in hand. What's on your playlist? Give us a peek.
Shoot, right now, man, I'm listening to a lot. Right now. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Let me see. I'm listening to Nipsey, R.I.P. I'm listening to DJ Khaled just came out with a new album. I've been listening to his stuff. Buju Banton got something out called Country for Sale. That's a whole other thing. Jamaica. I always got Popcorn on my list. That's Jamaican artist. Vybz Kartel. It's a lot. I love music, man. I'm always bumping at every given moment. I'm bumping my music, driving or doing whatever. So.
All right, man. Well, June 22nd, you return to the Octagon at UFC on ESPN Plus 12, Greenville, South Carolina. Randy, thank you for your time and good luck on your future, man.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, my name is Randy Brown. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter or wherever at touch and go _ That's touch letter NGO _ I just want to shout out to my team, Budokan Martial Arts, Belmore Kickboxing, Henzo Gracie, and yeah, that's it, man. Oh yeah, Everlast. Shout out to Everlast and Inner Skin. Shout out to Inner Skin. That might be backwards, but yeah. So, yeah, man. That's it.